Hey, it's 3 a.m. here. I woke up and I was thinking about you, so I thought I might come talk to you for a minute. It's quiet. It's the night out there. Can't see any stars or anything because it's light in my garage here, but it's cold. It's probably not far off of freezing. There's been frost in the mornings. And you can probably hear the leaves crunching under my feet. I mean, it's winter's coming. Out back, there's a light that's always lit here. That's a neighbor's light next to their garage. I just wanted to talk to your friend about some real raw things. Maybe like I'm realizing that the things that I've gone through and I'm still going through, a lot of you are going through. Maybe only one person will see this video. Maybe are going through the same thing and could use some help. For example, waking up, in a man's body with a man's responsibilities, but having, in a very real way, the psychology of a scared little boy. Waking up and having a family, like a wife and kids, or maybe just kids, depending on how the cards have been dealt, And all you got on your side is, the emotions and psychology of a boy, but you're a full grown man. I think that that's something that's going on a lot. It's something that has gone on for me. And I just wanted to talk to you about that and just be here with you in this moment and give you someone that sees you. Because I feel like, and the garage light just turned off. Let me get that back on somehow. I was alone in that place for a long time where I was just trying to be strong, trying to do it, and I don't know how. I don't know what to do. Oh goodness, where's this button? Here we go. All right, I'm back. And I just wanted to be here with you and sit with you for a moment here at 3 a.m. and just let you know that you're not the only one, brother or sister. I think this can apply to a lot of women these days too. I realized myself that in my heart and in my mind, I'm still very much so just a scared little boy. I'll also say that there are a lot of things of this psychology of a child that have grown with me into my adulthood that I have moved past. But I'm realizing now that there's a lot that I haven't. And I'm a lot like a scared little boy in a lot of ways, I have a lot of low self-confidence a lot of the time. I have a lot of fear, like deep-seated fear. I don't mean like I wake up and I'm afraid all the time. I mean like I'm afraid to make a decision or make a move because I don't know how. I feel paralyzed by feeling like whatever I try isn't the right thing, or feel like I don't know what to do. But that's like a trick in your mind, because what matters is that you do something. What matters is that you get out there and you try. Because if you never do anything, you'll end up like me. And it's not so terrible. I'm not just trying to be like my life's horrible, but I'm in a trial. I'm 33, and a lot of the guys I work with are young, like just out of high school or still in high school, working the same job I work. And granted, I'm in a leadership position and I can handle a crew and things, so there's a difference there. But especially these days, I don't make enough money. I don't make enough money to pay my bills and have food all the time. So I choose to bring food to the table because I got sons to feed and a wife to feed and myself to feed. And there's just a couple key points maybe I'd like to of advice I'd like to give you. One being like smoking marijuana. It's nice, but it's a really nice trap. It's a real nice bait in a trap. And I know it's legal in most states. And when I was, smoking weed, it was like, it wasn't legal. Most of the years I smoked weed, it wasn't legal anywhere. And it's legal now, and that actually makes me really scared because it's kind of like alcohol. It is not the best thing you could be doing. In fact, you should avoid it. Maybe alcohol is your thing. I'll speak to the marijuana. The thing about it is it can be the thing that you go to feel better. It can be that warm blanket that you go to just numb out, just to ignore it, or just to find a way to be okay with your life for the day. And the truth is, it can be something that is that way for you for many years. And that's a dangerous thing, because what happened for me was that I would just go to work at my regular 9-to-5 job. I would come home and I would smoke and I would play video games. And that's all I did for years. And this was before I was married, and it even went on for a while after I was married, especially playing video games. I started smoking less, but I just wanted to play games all the time. But those places, smoking weed, playing games, those are things that are going to make you feel better in the moment, going to help you kind of maybe numb out or escape. But it's going to be the thing that keeps you in the same place you are for years, because you will not make progress when you're content and you're high or you're just gaming. Especially if you're not trying to make your gaming into anything. You're not making videos or you're not streaming. That's one thing. I played so many years of games. I know if I was streaming, I would have an audience and I would have an income. But I never was successful at that when I tried. And now I wake up every day and I go to work and I got to make money for my family. And, if I had spent some of those months and years where I was just content to just be high, content just to play games, working or learning something or doing something more productive, that the hard, fast truth is, as great as games are, as great as getting high is, it's going to keep you in a place and create a trial for you later in your life, perhaps when you have a family, or maybe you're in that place now, man. Man, I ain't trying to call you down. I ain't trying to be rude. I'm not trying to, I just want to be here for you. And, if you're in that situation, maybe you're thinking something else, man. Maybe you're on alcohol, or maybe you do heroin, or maybe you're freaking ginormous and you just eat tons of food. You know what I mean? Because food's been my blanket too in the past. I don't know what you're going through, but I'm going to make some more videos like this where we can just, talk in the garage. And I just want to be here with you for a moment, because I know you're like out there by yourself. And maybe you're scared. Or maybe you're alone. And I'm sorry. And I don't know how to be there with you, but to maybe like this. I want to tell you it's going to be okay. It will be okay. I want to tell you something I've learned about being a man if you're going through something, just bearing it silently, trying to be strong, not talking to people about your deep suffering, your trials, the things that you go through when you're alone at night, laying there in your bed, when you're not on your phone, and when you've doom scrolled so much you just can't take anymore and you just lie there and you're miserable. You got to talk to somebody about that. You got to let somebody into that space where you don't let people in. Maybe you struggle, watching pornography. Or maybe you're addicted to going out and meeting girls and having sex with them, and then it feels so empty afterwards. That's, again, one of those blankets like weed or games. Not necessarily the worst things, but a trap. A really pretty trap. You try to bury yourself in a feeling, chasing a woman or being with her, but really, in the end, you're just giving the most sacred part of yourself to somebody for a night, and then it's gone. And maybe that's how it feels safe for you, because that's how it was growing up. Maybe your father abandoned you. Maybe your mother was neglectful or hurtful. I know you're out there, and I know you're suffering. My father, abandoned me and my family when I was a young boy. And honestly, before that event where he really left, he was gone out working out of town most of the time, and when he was home, he was trying to keep a lid on his anger. And he was trying to figure out how to be a man. And I know that he was just a scared little boy. And all of his problems manifested itself in anger. If he was sad, he was angry. If he was scared, he was angry. And the truth is that a lot of that frustration naturally flew into us kids growing up, and his wife, because it was not his wife now. It hasn't been for a long time, but it all fell down on his family. Everything he went through in the form of anger. And he tried not to do that because he didn't want to hurt us, but you can't just hold it in and suffer in silence, gentlemen, sir, friend. Because the truth is, if you what happened to me is that I inherited those things from my father. All of my emotions manifested in anger, and I grew up, started having kids, got married, started having kids. And man, I'd never been so stressed out in my life. Because I don't know how to be a father. I don't know how to be a husband. I never saw that modeled growing up, and I'm just trying to figure it out. And I am just, throughout so much of my marriage, I have just been trying to figure it out, and I never knew how, and it's just been a mess. I've been a mess. I've made a mess out of my marriage. And I'm in the process of recovering that. If I didn't have a stronger woman, I know that she would have left me. But she stayed, and she's still here. And I know that she loves me. And I'm lucky, because I know there's a lot of men who haven't had the same grace in their life. I know there's other women out there too who've been left or have left themselves, and now you're in just a difficult situation. I'm glad you're right here with me in my garage just for a few minutes. I just wanted to sit with you. Maybe give you some advice, but mostly I just want to be to make a little safe space for you and let you know that I see you. It's cold, folks. I kind of want to get in the car and sit down, but kind of like standing too. My hand's getting cold holding the phone. I'd really like to hear from you if if you're catching my vibe, if you're in that situation. Because the truth is, a lot of us have grown up. Maybe you are growing up. Maybe it's been a long time since you've been in a broken family. But the truth is, you take those wounds and all that stuff that happened, and even when you leave that place and that situation, you have that brokenness in you, that child psychology in you, and you're expected to go out into the world and know what to do. Folks, I'm still trying to figure out what to do, and that's all right. Maybe it's okay if you're broken. If you procrastinate, if you're irresponsible, if you're not making much money, if you're trying to run from your problems, if you're trying to be distracted from your problems. You got to find someone who you can talk to about your deep, deep suffering. I thought I was being strong. I was growing up. Parents split. I saw how hard it was on my mom. We ended up with my mom, not my dad. Growing up, and I saw how difficult it was for my mother. I saw how sad she was. I saw how stressed out she was. And I remember making a decision that I could handle what I was going through and I wouldn't place that burden on her. And I thought I was being strong. But I want to reframe that thinking for you if that's what you're going through. If you try to suffer in silence and be quiet and bear the burden. That's something that a weak man will do. That's easy to do. And that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to invalidate your suffering, because I know you are. But the truth that I have learned recently about myself is that a strong man knows he needs to be supported and to be seen for who he is and what he's going through. And by doing so, you can also be opened up to being loved for who you are. You need to talk to somebody about your flaws, your addictions, your problems, your pain. And in that place with somebody else, you can begin to heal. You can find somebody you can share everything that's going on inside you with someone else, and they'll still love you and not judge you. That's where a lot of your pain will, there'll start to be growth, not just pain and wounds. So find somebody. If you can find somebody too that can mentor you, maybe be a model for you after what it's like to be a man, or how to make some money, or how to, whatever it is you got going on in your life. If you can find somebody who can help you understand. I can hear some coyotes out there on the desert. A little bit spooky. They won't bother me though. I'm a big man. Look at this beard. Look at this hair. They know. Nah. I'm just being silly. But if you can find someone, maybe it's online, maybe it's videos, maybe it's in real life. Real life would be very much best, because you'll have a true, genuine connection. That would be best. I hope maybe I could be a little bit of that for you here now, because I woke up and what came to my mind, I remember I was dreaming about someone making a video kind of like this. And on my heart was just, I swear I could just feel the spirit of you out there having a hard time, and I just wanted to do what I can for you. So thank you for being here. I know I'm a little bit all over the place. But that's okay. I think a lot of us are born that way now. We're just kind of all over the place, right? Our minds are like, we're like little moths next to a light dancing around. Here, there, here, there. Maybe you guys can relate. The truth is, ever since I was a kid, I've had a love for all of humanity. I remember being hurt by my parents. I remember being sad. And when that happened, I would go to be alone. Because it wasn't safe to be with my parents. It wasn't safe to share how I felt with my parents. Because it just caused more stress and yelling. And so I would go to my room, or I would go outside, and I would just handle it. I would be quiet. And growing up, I learned to be quiet. And I learned to bury myself in order to be safe. And I've taken that into my adult life. And being married, I didn't know how to let anybody in to my deep places of pain that I spoke to you about. To talk to somebody about my fears, for fear of how they might react to me, to share my shame and the things I'm doing that are not very good with somebody, because I was afraid how they'll react, or that they may be disappointed or leave, because they'll just look at me and believe I'm this disgusting human being, that I'm just perverse, that I'm just a pig. You're not a pig, brother. You're not. You're just trying to figure out how to survive and how to make it. Perhaps you go to marijuana or pornography or women or the bottle, or whatever it might be, food even. You go to that because it's what makes you feel better for a moment. Because the whole rest of the time, you're really going through something immense, and you feel the weight of your life and of the world on your shoulders. And that little moment, that little hit, those games, that's what you give yourself. But what you really need is connection with another human being. What you really want is to be seen for who you are. Excuse me. That's the truth. You're giving yourself a fake cop-out of what you really need. And it may be different for each of you. For me, I really crave connection. I want someone to know how I feel. I want someone to know what I'm going through. And instead of talking to somebody, because I didn't realize that's what I needed, but instead of talking to somebody like my wife or someone I trust, I will just go do something stupid. Deal with my emotions by, getting some fake emotional connection from watching pornography. And I'm not a pig. I'm just, ever since I was a kid, that's how I found out I can feel good without anybody else's help. I know a way to release my anger, my frustration. And, ever since then, it's just been every time things get real hard and I can't do it anymore, I'll just go back to my addiction. And I want you to know that you're doing that because you're hurt. You're doing that because inside of you is a child, perhaps, that grew up in a broken home. Things are not normal the way you grew up. And now, you're awake in this life and you have all these responsibilities and things, and you feel like you've just been failing the whole time. It's okay. It really is. It's going to be okay. I know you guys, a lot of people don't believe in God anymore. Throughout my life, even as a child, I would go to God, hoping. Somebody told me in church one day, my mom would drag us all to church. Somebody taught me when I was a child in class that Jesus knows, and I'm not here to preach to you, so don't let this turn you off. I'm just trying to share part of myself with you and be open and honest and vulnerable. For me, somebody told me that Jesus knows exactly how I feel. Somebody told me that Jesus knows exactly what it feels like to be me in church one day. And I don't know, that's all I ever wanted. I remember as the child wishing that somebody knew how I felt. I wished somebody knew what I was going through. And I knew that if somebody did, that there's nothing in this world that could stop me. That if somebody just knew how I felt and what I was going through, and they knew my pain and my sadness and my suffering and the unfairness and the injustice and the brokenheartedness, if somebody just knew how I felt, that would be all that I needed. And so when somebody told me that in church, that Jesus knows how I feel, and that when he was nailed up on the cross, that's what he felt. He felt that place and that space for every human being that will ever live on this earth. And somehow I just knew that that was the case. And I received a lot of strength when I realized that. It got me by in that moment. And for a long time after that. But you need more than that. You need more than just Jesus, folks. You may be religious, you may not be. But God put people in your life to help you. And maybe those people failed. Maybe they were your parents, maybe they were your siblings, maybe they were your significant other. Maybe they were your spouse and they failed. I just want to apologize for them and to you that you're in this situation. But I also want to come to you as a man and tell you, man to man, maybe man to woman, depending on who's listening, that this life is your responsibility now, as unfair as it is. I inherited the same problems my father had, the same way to deal with his emotions and anger, and it's my responsibility now. And I'm a little further along in this process, It's been my responsibility and continues to be my responsibility to find a way where he couldn't. I know my father forged the best way he could. He took the cards in his hand and took that responsibility and did the best he could. And, from my perspective, it might have been that he absolutely shit the bed. You know what I mean? He abandoned his family after emotionally traumatizing them and all these things. And that honestly is a brutal truth. That happened. But I also know that he did the very best that he could, and he's still doing that by trying to reach out and try to talk to me every now and again. And I love my father. I ain't trying to throw him all under the bed, but I also don't want to not talk about the difficult situation that has been my life, and that I know is your life. So, I see you. This life that you have, whatever's going on, it's up to you. It's your responsibility. Yeah, it might be unfair. Yeah, it might not be easy. Hell no, it's not easy. Hell no, it's not fair. But it's your responsibility and your opportunity to move forward. And I want to let you know that the things that you're going through, the things that you've gone through, are going to make you into a person that is wise and that is kind and compassionate. And I believe in you. I want you to know that I believe in you. And I know you can do this. And I want you to know that it's okay to not know all the way. Like you don't know, you may not know what to do. And I want to tell you that's okay. And I want to tell you that you can trust yourself. You can make a decision. And you should make a decision. Even if it's the wrong decision and you start doing it, you're going to realize it's the wrong decision. And then you'll know, hey, that's not the thing. I'm going to go over here and try this other thing. What's important is that you make a decision and you start moving. Don't stay in the place you're at. Don't just go take another hit. Don't just go back to your addiction. And I'm not saying you won't. I'm not saying the key is to stop doing that. I'm telling you that if you want something to change, you have to change it. And I also want you to know that if that burden is too heavy, that you can reach out to somebody for help. And you need to. There are people in your life, put in your life to help you through this. You don't have to keep being alone. That's the child in you who had to learn how to be alone and be okay being alone and not being supported. You don't have to do that anymore. You can let go of that psychology of a hurt, sad, abandoned child who wanted to be loved by their parents, or maybe, again, this figure in your life was a spouse. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be, folks. We all want love. You can find a place where you're safe with another person. And you should. It can be a friend, it can be a significant other, it could be a lot of things. But the other truth behind that is they can't be everything for you. But they can be there for you. In those places in your heart where you're hurting and all that. So yeah, that's the practical advice tonight, is make a decision. It might be the decision to start working out, if that's what you want. Do you want to be fit? You better start working out. And you got to have to want it enough that that's what you're doing. I'm in that space right now, in that arena. I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go work out. Truth is, I started just eating more protein. If you want to lose weight, you got to start eating more protein, because eating protein grows muscle, and muscle's what burns fat. I started focusing on that just a little bit, and I still eat very unhealthy. I eat out often. I'm a mess. But I started eating more, focusing more on, like, I want meat. I want protein. And I'm eating less. I don't know if you can hear that dog. My neighbor's dogs bark often. The cats or the skunks or something come by and they start going off. They might hear me. Start eating more protein. I'm losing some belly fat. It's nice. Got myself a little belly. It's not ginormous or anything, but it's under there, hitting under my coat. And truth be told, I've always wanted to be more fit. I was in my younger years, and then I was emotionally eating the rest of the time, and have been ever since then. And so I'm taking myself more seriously, more like a man, less like a child trying to run away from his emotions, right? And I'm starting to lose that weight. And pretty soon I'm going to be adding on working out, and I know I'm going to get fit. And I know I'm going to feel good, and I'm going to have some confidence from it. So maybe your decision is to do that. Or maybe your decision is to get a different job. Or maybe your decision is to get a job. And there's no shame, folks. Whatever the decision is that you want to make, no shame in having not made it already. It's okay. Make the decision and move forward. Do something. Apply for a job. apply for a new job. Apply for a higher paying job because you don't make enough money. Maybe go start washing windows for yourself. I started doing that to make some money on the side, and if I never started that, I'd be in a more difficult financial situation than I am now. I know this video is kind of dragging on. We've talked in the garage here for a little while. It's still freezing cold. My hands are cold. My body's getting cold. I just want to tell you that I love you. And even though I don't know you personally, and maybe you don't know me, I'd really like to share myself with you. I'd really like to help give you what wisdom maybe I've collected over the years and maybe give you some advice. But mostly I just want to be here for you, man, as a friend. And I just want to tell you that I love you. I do. I know you're there. And just because we don't know each other doesn't mean that I can't feel love for you or know and feel that you're going through something that is cataclysmic and that is unprecedented and that has not gone on in the entire history of the world. Truth is, we're all going through something that is unique to the time that we're growing up in, and that people don't know how to go through it. You're not the only one. There's generations of folks struggling how you do. You're not alone. I'm one of them. And I'm just making my way any way I can. And I'm getting better at it. And you can and you will. I know you will. I believe in you. And I love you. And hey, you know what? This is a part where this is a YouTube thing. So if you've enjoyed our time here together, or if you've heard something that has helped, let me know in the comments. Drop a like, folks, because if this is helping, if this is something that's been valuable for you, I would like to keep doing it. I would really like to continue to share my experience and be open and vulnerable and honest, maybe give some advice, and simply just be here with you for a few minutes during your day. So let me know if you're there. Anyway, go get some sleep if you're scrolling. If you're like me and you just woke up, that's all right. Stay up. Your choice. It's okay. I'm not going to tell you to go to bed. Stay up if you want. It's all right. Adios, amigos.